Glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever. 1815, the most infamous figure of the age, defeated in battle at Waterloo. Banished 2,000 kilometres offshore to one of the remotest islands in the world. Saint Helena. Napoleon in exile. The fall of an emperor.
Surgeon Major Archibald Arnott, surgeon to the 20th of Foot, approaching Saint Helena, 1819. Our regiment's voyage from Ireland has reached its conclusion, and we have arrived ready to form part of the island's garrison. We are to form part of the guard, preventing escape or rescue of Napoleon Bonaparte.
The subtropical island of Saint Helena, owned by the East India Company at this time, with its terrific appearance and stupendous barren cliffs, must have appeared a rather desolate, ominous place from the ship.
I can only imagine what Bonaparte's thoughts would have been on his arrival 4 years ago.
15th of October 1815. Nothing can possibly be less prepossessing, nay more horribly forbidding than the first appearance of this isolated and apparently burnt up barren rock, which promises neither refreshment or pleasure.
15 October 1815. Contrary to his normal practice, the Emperor got dressed early to go up on deck and get an overall view of the island, which he could only see imperfectly from the porthole in his cabin.
While he stood there, I watched his countenance with the most observant attention, and it betrayed no particular sensation. He looked as any other man would look at a place which he beheld for the first time.
After watching for a few moments, the Emperor went back into his cabin without comment, allowing no one to guess what was transpiring in his soul.
22nd of October 1815. I went with General Bonaparte to Longwood, and he seemed tolerably satisfied with it, though with his attendants he has been complaining a good deal, and having stated that he could not bear the crowds which gathered to see him in the town.
Arnott and the 20th of Foot found themselves part of a formidable guard on Saint Helena. After Napoleon's escape from his previous exile on the island of Elba, the Allies were eager to prevent a second disturbance of the peace in Europe.
Saint Helena is garrisoned by almost 3,000 officers and men, its coasts guarded by 6 brigs which sail around the island day and night. Off the port capital of Jamestown, the only realistic place for landing on the island, 3 frigates and 2 armed vessels lay ready for immediate action.
In August 1819, Arnott was approached by Frenchman Count Montholon, Bonaparte's former general in those terrific Napoleonic wars, who voluntarily joined Napoleon in his second exile.
He requested I take care of Napoleon, but the general currently refuses further help. No doubt the family will send for a French physician to attend him, and I am content to treat others at the Longwood residence as and when they wish.
September 1819. Young Corsican Professor Anton Marchi is chosen to act as Napoleon's physician.
Today I attended the wife of Napoleon's Grand Marshal, Countess Bertram, and her children at Longwood. This also brought me in sight of the great man himself. The stories of Napoleon's earlier years on the island paint the picture of a rather cavalier captive, if the rumours are to be believed. To my surprise, Napoleon seems to have taken a liking to my company. I had thought my position as regimental surgeon would cause a natural indifference. He displays great mistrust for any medical man, but being a fellow veteran of many campaigns seems to give the ex-emperor a reason to be pleased by our interactions. Had the most extraordinary conversation with Napoleon today. He seems to think we've met before, although I do recall sighting Napoleon in Paris whilst on a sightseeing tour with friends. We were not presented to the Emperor, for we were clad in travelling dress, and our cloud threatened rain, so we thought it better to head for our lodgings. He simply replied, "Ah, a foreseeing Scot." He truly is a fascinating and extraordinary character, by no means healthy, but that seems no surprise given his state of captivity. The new orderly officer in charge of security at Longwood, responsible for reporting the sighting of Napoleon every day, seems keen to prove himself.
10th of February 1820. At 5 o'clock in the evening, I had a view of General Bonaparte. He was in the flower garden in conversation with Count Montholon. 26th of March 1820. The General says that he does not like having a sentry exactly at his door to remind him that he's a prisoner. The General also disapproved of the iron railings which formed a perfect iron cage. 27th of July 1820. I have just been with Count Montholon to explain to him it was absolutely necessary for me to obtain a sight of General Bonaparte.
At the end of 1820, Count Montholon was directed by Napoleon Bonaparte to say that he did not conceive that either the British government or the governor, Sir Hudson Lowe, appeared sufficiently interested about the state of his health. By March the following year, the household at Longwood feared a further decline in the ex-emperor.
Sir Hudson Lowe has offered every medical aid the island affords, and I have recommended further medical assistance myself, but Napoleon uniformly refuses it. It is strange to think that this man, who reigned over 12 years of war in the hope of conquering Europe, now lays so undone by illness. It is perhaps less strange that he is so weary of his captors that he will only permit Anton Marchi and myself to treat him. 1st of April 1821. When we reached Napoleon Bonaparte's bedroom, there was no light whatever in it. It was perfectly dark. Count Montholon met me at the door. He led me up to Napoleon Bonaparte's bedside and introduced me. I could not see him, as he would not permit a light to be brought into the room. I have great hopes he will see through this latest decline. Bad night, but not unduly alarmed. Told Bertrand that Napoleon is in no danger whatever. 8th of April, shaved and better in intention of the belly, headache and great rest. 2nd of April. I cannot give him that which would set him right. Liberty. He is dying. He wishes I should see him breathe his last. 5:30 p.m, 5th May 1821. He has this moment expired. The scene of sorrow at Longwood House presented in the evening that great and extraordinary man that breathed his last will never be erased from my memory.
Napoleon Bonaparte, 1769 to 1821.